Eddie, here we are at the famous Orpheaum Theater in Los Angeles, the venue for EBI 3. I'd like to ask you, what was your original vision for the Eddie Bravo Invitational Tournament?
Well, the original vision for the format, the rules format, the submission-only format that I have, there's several different submission-only formats, but the one I had, I was trying to push to other promoters of other grappling events. And I wasn't planning on doing my own show. I didn't want to. I had this idea, I had this format in my head that I thought could take jiu-jitsu as a sport to the next level, to get it into TV, but no one really wanted to hear, especially the overtime rules that I came up with. They were just too far out. And so eventually, along with my partner Victor Davila, we just decided to do it on our own and make it happen. And we've done 2 shows so far. EBI 3's coming up. And that's what we're here to discuss. And everything's been going great. And I'm glad that these other promoters declined on the format, because everything now is it's a beautiful thing that we got going here.
So you had 2 events so far, and did they go as you had planned, or did anything surprise you?
They went way better than I expected, than any of us expected, especially for the live audience. When you're there experiencing a 16-man tournament, and you get to watch each match one at a time, center stage, it's different than hearing about a tournament online and knowing who won, and then going on YouTube and watching each match separately, or watching the finals right away and hearing about what happened. It's like, when you experience a jiu-jitsu tournament that way, it's like hearing about a movie and then going on YouTube and seeing clips of the movie and then the end of the movie. It's not the same as sitting there. It's just like UFC 2. That was the only 16-man tournament that they had. And you sitting there watching, even though we only saw the final 8, except for Royce, we saw his opening round match. You saw it all unfold, and it really, when you see it unfold and you see the first round and who made it out of the first round, who made it into the next round, and then you may not know anybody in that tournament, but by the end, by the finals, you know those 2 finalists very, very well. And it really is like you're watching this documentary or this movie, and you see it all unfold, and it's really exciting when you see it in that way, one by one match featured on the main stage. And EBI 1 and EBI 2, I don't know how many people told me it was the best jiu-jitsu tournament they've ever seen. It just seemed like everyone just kept coming up to me and saying they've never experienced jiu-jitsu in that way before. And I think it's because what we've experienced, and myself included, is jiu-jitsu tournaments where there's 12 matches going on at the same time, and you just lose track of what's happening. And if it's a point system and you start talking to your friend, you look back, you forgot what match you were looking at, you don't know the score. It's frustrating that this sport that we all love so much, jiu-jitsu, is still so tiny. Chess is probably gets more TV time than jiu-jitsu does. And it doesn't make any sense, because there's millions and millions and millions of UFC fans out there. The UFC is the fastest rising sport in the world. It's just dominating right now. And jiu-jitsu is what started the UFC. It started from jiu-jitsu. It was all about Rorion Gracie putting on the UFC and Royce Gracie winning the 3 out of the first 4. And it was all about jiu-jitsu, and that's where the jiu-jitsu revolution started. It was because of the UFC. Yet, we don't even have 1/1,000,000th of the audience when it comes to watching jiu-jitsu on TV. It doesn't make any sense. And to me, I approached putting together EBI like someone that had a quest or had a mission or a job to create a jiu-jitsu event that at least 10% of these people that are into the UFC can enjoy. Because basically, EBI is just the UFC without any strikes. It's the same thing. There's no points or anything. You're not counting points for, a sweep or a pass. It's you're fighting for the submission. And it's the same submissions they use in the UFC, so there's no reason why we can't get 10, 20% of the market, of the UFC market, to watch and support jiu-jitsu and to have it on pay-per-view events and have it on a network. There's no reason for it. And I think the reason it hasn't happened is because of the point system. Point system is it just doesn't work with entertainment. The point system is designed to please the competitor, because in these tournaments, the competitors are the ones supporting the events. They're the ones making these promoters of these events rich. They're paying $150 to compete in these tournaments, so it's very important that the promoter makes the competitors happy. So the competitors are so happy with this point system because they want to make sure that if they beat this guy but they couldn't submit him, that they still got that gold medal because they trained so hard and they dieted and they worked out so hard. They want to get rewarded for dominating positionally. And I understand that. But when the competitors aren't the ones supporting the show and the audience is, then we got to shift the focus on entertaining the audience. And when you do that, everything changes. And it's not about the competitor now. Now it's like a game show. The game shows are all about the audience. It's EBI is winner take all. No show money, no nothing like that. Winner take all. And it's a 16-man tournament. And the winner only gets paid on the matches he won in regulation. Each match that he wins in overtime, he doesn't get paid for them. This strategy and this format was designed to create as much urgency as possible, which results in more entertainment for the fans. And yes, there are going to be some dull matches in EBI and with this format, but overall, we're looking overall, and in points tournaments, yes, there are exciting matches, but overall, it's not on TV. No one's trying to put it on TV. No one's even close to it. No one's even talking about putting point tournament on TV. The closest thing we have is Meta Morris, submission only. Meta Morris can easily be on a network, easily, like on Spike or something. I don't understand. So EBI is the best part of Meta Morris and the best part of Abu Dhabi. The best part of Meta Morris is that each match is one at a time. There's not 3 matches going on at the same time. One in a match. Can you imagine watching MMA and there's 6 MMA matches going on at the same time? That would never happen because it's ridiculous. But why is it happening in jiu-jitsu? Because they're trying to get as many matches completed as possible because they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars off the competitors. Audience, there's nobody in the audience in these tournaments, and that needs to change. We can still have these points tournaments. I'm not trying to ban them. I'm just trying to get jiu-jitsu on TV. They got dog frisbee on TV. They got people pulling tractors with their teeth and a rope and a chain. You tell me you can't put the art of jiu-jitsu on TV? And that's what I'm trying to do. That's the goal. It's not about tradition. It's not about spiritual Budo. No offense. It's about the awesomeness of jiu-jitsu. And what is it? The submission. Let's focus on the submission. Let's put the incentive on the submission, and let's make it so that it's the audience member first, the competitor second. It's the audience. We're doing things different, and I'm not treating like the competitors like slaves, like back in the gladiator days. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about instead of giving everybody a little show money and spreading it all out, we're going to give the winner all the money that we can come up with. And EBI 1, EBI 2, we lost money. We haven't made any money. Me and Victor haven't made anything. We're just losing everything. We created a pilot, an idea, and especially with the overtime rounds. The overtime rounds, just talking about them, people just will not understand. They just won't do it. They won't get it. But we had to do it, and we had to show them what it was like. And now when people see it, now I haven't gotten so much praise for the overtime before they saw it. Now people love it. They don't want the overtime changed at all, but before they thought it was like, that's just so crazy and so unorthodox. That'll never work. They didn't even want to hear it. Like the promoters I try to pitch, they're like, this is ridiculous. How could you ever do that? Well, we did it and it worked, and it's working so far. EBI 3 can be a complete disaster. You never know. You never know, but we're so far 2 shows in the bag, and we've gotten tremendous reviews, and we're growing, and it seems like it's on a rise, and it seems like we got Budo videos. You guys are involved, and that's huge. Defense Soap is our main sponsor. OTM is one of our sponsors. Nuwaza, Gracie Tournaments, me and Rose are working together. We cross promote, taking our fighters and doing super fights at Gracie Nationals and Gracie Worlds, and vice versa. You know, people that win Gracie Worlds, their divisions, they get an automatic spot in EBI. So we started off grassroots. We're still grassroots, really, but we're growing, and hopefully, at least the jiu-jitsu community, can see that all I'm trying to do is make jiu-jitsu as entertaining as possible, and that's the goal. We're using IBJJF guys. We're using, and obviously I want my 10th Planet guys to win, but when they don't win, I'm not crying. As long as the show was great. Gary Tonin beat my Richie Martinez in the finals of EBI 1. I wasn't crying. I mean, I wanted my guy to win, but you know, may the best man win. And it's really the show first. It's all about the show. It's all about jiu-jitsu first. And hopefully my guys, my students win, but if they don't, the show is still a beautiful thing, and you can't win them all. And I love Gary Tonin. I love what he brings to the sport. I'm a big fan of his. He's bringing his leg lock coach, Eddie Cummings, into EBI 3. He's also in the tournament, and he just beat my first black belt, Denny Prokopos, and I, you know, let's just keep battling and have this friendly competition. And meanwhile, the jiu-jitsu community, hopefully, they can enjoy it and take advantage of it and help it grow as well, you know. And there's a lot of resistance to EBI based on my desertion of the gi. There's a large percentage of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, they don't want anything that I do to succeed. And I understand that, but hopefully they'll understand that Jiu-Jitsu is going to succeed through if EBI succeeds. If we get it to a network and we blow it up or whatever direction we end up going. Yeah. Maybe someone buys us out and we go super large, or maybe we die, I don't know. But when it's all said and done, all I'm doing is the best I can to get the beautiful art of jiu-jitsu as entertaining as possible and on a network and get it to the mainstream.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. You know, and you mentioned that you're doing all this for jiu-jitsu, and that's something that we're unified in our approach, that everything that you and I both do is for jiu-jitsu. Yours is, of course, without the gi, and we promote both. But I think you've done a fantastic job with the first two events. And I have to admit, I was a little skeptical at first when you told me about the rules and the overtime. It's something that just doesn't make sense until you watch it. And after you watch it, it's crystal clear. It's an awesome way to do it. And I think you're really bringing, when people say submission only, some of these other events are not really submission only, especially if it's a short round or 10 minutes and that's it, whether the two guys lose or whatever the case. Like, you're really pushing the submission, because after the 10 minutes, then you go to overtime and you're still working for the submission. We won't get into all the details about how that works, but it's a fantastic approach, and I commend you for coming up with that concept.
Thank you. Thank you.